for joining us here at the Nerdy Basement. We're going to be talking about your film SIMCHAS and Sorrows. So super excited for your release date. It's going to be on the Layman
The
NoHo Theater
Lenway. Yeah.
on the 16th of this month, and as well as going to be available digital and video on demand on the 20th of September. So are you excited for the release of your film?
Yes, we're really excited. It's been a long road, and we're all really proud to finally have a product that we can share with the world. So we're really excited.
Awesome. So I wanted to go ahead and ask, where was the inspiration behind the story of the film? Because I know that it touches up a little bit of everything. But what inspired you? Because I know that you are writer, director, and actress in the film as well.
Yeah, it was a lot. I was inspired from real life. I took a class at Central Synagogue when my husband and I decided to get married. He's Jewish and he grew up Jewish. I have one Jewish grandparent on my mother's side who is ethnically Jewish but never religious. So he really wanted me to explore with him the more formal religious side of being Jewish, and I said okay tentatively, and we took this class with a wonderful Rabbi April Davis, who was just really inspiring, and she was cool and unique and funny. And I just thought, this is really there's a lot of material here, and there's a lot of people I know who have been in sort of these situations of interfaith marriages, or even just marrying someone and getting to know their family. There's always a lot of comedy there. There's always a lot of drama and profound things as well. So that's sort of where the idea came from this class. And I started writing down funny character descriptions of the different people we were with, and because it was an interesting crew. And that's where I started.
Okay, so again, like I mentioned before, writer, director, actress as well. You had many hats in this film. So, what were some of your personal challenges juggling all of these roles at the same time?
Oh, there was a ton of challenges. I think the first hurdle was, you know, getting the guts to do it. On the first day of shooting, I was so nervous. I was ready to tell everyone to go home and call it off. I felt because whenever you're writing something that comes from a personal place, and I think even if the details of a story are different from you as the writer, it's very personal. People say, don't make it personal. It's not personal, it's business. But in this business, it is personal. And this story was very personal for me. So I felt very exposed and nervous about what people would think is true about my life and what's not true and all that. So once I got over that hurdle and I got comfortable in the role of director, telling everyone what to do, things started to get easier. But it's definitely, I think if you don't feel like you're taking a risk, it's probably not worth doing. I think you have to sort of go out on a limb with these things. And we were a low budget project, so relatively speaking. So that's always a challenge in the sense that independent films, you have a very limited amount of time and a lot of people to coordinate. This film had a ton of characters and a lot of different scenes in a lot of different locations. So that working on location in New York City with very little money and a lot of different locations was a huge challenge. But I had an amazing crew. They were very intrepid and willing to work hard and stay late and come early. And I couldn't have done it without them.
Okay, that's amazing. So piggybacking on that last portion that you mentioned, you did say that there was a lot of challenges filming in New York. I know that one of the main things, like when you're going to make a film, the main challenge is locations. What other challenges that you got to experience while filming Simchas and Sorrows?
Um, well, it was it was in the middle of the pandemic, so we had to worry about COVID, and I wanted to make sure, obviously, that everyone was safe and healthy. That was our number one priority. So that was a big obstacle in the sense that we had to comply with all the rules and regulations, which we wanted to comply with and we're happy to comply with, but that costs money and coordination and planning. So, which we had, very, limited amounts of, or the ability to do, but we complied with all the regulations and the CDC guidelines and the SAG rules. And we were able to pull it off, but that was definitely, it was a little scary. And we were lucky that we found a window in the summer when COVID levels, infection levels were down. So we were able to find a little window of a safe moment to film. But yeah, everyone was masked, and it's definitely a different experience working on a set during a pandemic than before.
Yeah, I can imagine because many of the other directors that I have interviewed before, they have mentioned that while the pandemic, filming their movie or their story was very challenging because you do have to cover all the bases and make sure that everybody's safe. Because if one gets affected by the situation, then everybody gets affected as well. So yeah, it's I've seen so many films that have been affected by COVID, but I am super happy that when it comes to this point that you guys can get your film out there and then say that I made this while that happened. So I think that I imagine that inside you are feeling super excited for your film. So wanted to ask as well, you are the main character of your film and your story. What was your process writing Agnes and as well bringing Agnes to life when you started filming?
That's a great question. I sort of have a voice when I'm writing characters that are based on myself. And so I sort of fell into a familiar pattern with Agnes. I had written a film called I'm Obsessed with You, and made the film in 2013. And I had a character in that named Carrie, who I also played, who was very much the writer's voice, and my voice.
Okay.
So I start there, and then we tried to, when I say we, now it's become, I wrote the script myself, but it became such a collaborative process once you bring other actors on board. And I really think I found Agnes definitely, when I was writing it, but also in the making of it and working with such talented actors like Thomas and Hari and John Cullum and Chip Stein, and the list goes on and on because I wrote so many characters. We had so many wonderful actors, and I really think Agnes started to emerge for me once I was doing it and living it. And yeah, but you always have an advantage when you write the part, because you're writing in your own speech patterns. You're kind of writing how you talk, or at least I do. So I'm not, yeah, I don't stray that far, but I also, there's a lot about Agnes that is made up and that I put in there for to help,
Okay.
increase the drama of the story and make it a complete film.
That's amazing. So I wanted to bring to the table the fact that one of the characters, and not one, but Agnes is an active atheist in the film, and it's trying to be convert to Judaism. And it touches a lot of bases of religion. Were you concerned about how the audience would react to your film?
Yeah, I mean, I think whenever you're making anything, that's in the back of your mind, but you really can't let it dictate how you present the subjects you're presenting, because part of art and part of making cinema and films and books and creating like that is to share your point of view and say what you got to say. So and I felt I was given a lot of encouragement by people who read the script and responded to it, and a lot of the other actors who I collaborated with Hari Neff on the sermon, and she helped me shape that. And she really encouraged me to go there, because I was a little bit tentative to talk about Israel and Palestine, since it's such a charged issue and people have such, entrenched beliefs on both sides, and it can be very sensitive and difficult to talk about. So, but I think, that's why we create, right? We want
Hmm.
to talk about things. We want to have those conversations. So yeah, it's definitely scary, and but that's definitely part of it for me.
Okay. So how was working with the cast and crew? And as well, do you have any funny stories or funny moments or moments that you take to heart when you were on set?
Yes, I have so many. It's hard to, I should at this point be able to summon them up very easily, but there's so many to choose from. The cast and crew was exceptional. I worked with some actors I had known in college and some who were really close friends, like Lucy Morris and Billy Calder. And I collaborated with Thomas on this film. This is our second film together. And he contributed a lot of music to the film. Hari was someone I had just met. We had sent her the script and she responded to it, and we had coffee, and she brought a lot because she was raised Jewish and she's
Okay. I did not
much
know
more
that.
familiar, yeah, with things that, because I did not grow up in the faith. She really helped me ground the film in reality. Um, and yeah, I mean, from John Cullum, he's an icon. He's a theater legend. I learned so much from him, and he's just so patient and kind and loving and just lovable, and so talented. What was you asked about a funny story. Okay.
If you have a funny story or a moment that you take to heart while you were in set.
Yes. So there's one particular day. So one of my favorite people, Annalise Sapero, who plays Glaucia Eduarda in the film, she's a extraordinarily talented actress and just like the loveliest human being on earth. She and I had to film a scene in the grave. So when she falls in, and it was thunderstorming that day. It was like 101 degrees. We were both like, bugs were crawling all over us. We were in an actual grave. And that was when I was like, I think Annalise is probably gonna like get up and walk off. Like I would leave. This is like terrible. And she was like, no, I do it again. She was such a trooper. And we just laughed a ton. It was me, Daniel Contaldo, our wonderful cinematographer, and her down literally in the grave for that scene. And we just laughed a lot, and you know, dealt with a lot of, we had like parts of the dirt were sort of falling in.
Yeah.
We had to run out and get under a tent and cover it when it was thunderstorming, and we had a little dance party in our passenger van while we were waiting for the rain to clear. So that day was really, really, I mean, exhausting and difficult, but that's when I realized I was in really good company and I had an amazing crew.
Oh, that has to be amazing. I'm imagining it right now. Everything, it should be, should be fun. So there is a scene that it caught my eye really really big. What, because you have a scene where is Robbie, played by Harry Neff, and Agnes, played by yourself, when they had like this like dinner, like family dinner together, and then Agnes like realizes that there is a certain piece of continuing the practice or the transition. Can we get a little bit more details of how that scene was processed through your eyes?
Oh, that's an interesting question. One I haven't gotten before actually about that scene. I think with that scene, I was just trying to have a moment between the two female characters in the film who had sort of been at odds, not entirely, but had
Mm-hmm.
moments of tension in the class. And I wanted to show them reaching out, or at least have the show Rabbi Cohen reaching out to Agnes and sort of saying like, look, this doesn't have to be about Levi. This doesn't have to be about the baby. This doesn't have to be about all the other stuff going on in your life. This can be just about you and me for a minute. And I think that really good spiritual leaders and leaders in general are able to focus on one person and give them their undivided attention and really listen. And I wanted to show that Rabbi Cohen was that kind of person, and that because Agnes really needs that in that moment in order to sort of have the courage to keep going. And I wanted them to have that bonding moment together. And I think we did achieve that, but it definitely went through a lot of iterations of writing it, because it was hard to pinpoint what I really wanted to say for a while. And then I was actually rewriting that right before we filmed, because there was too much excess and I wanted it to be shorter and to the point. And I still probably think it's a bit long, but I tend to be long-winded. So
And then wanted to know, because is this I would say it's a romantic comedy film. So what are your top 3 or top 5 rom-coms that you like?
oh, that is such a hard question.
Uh,
Yeah, top 3. I'm a lover of the genre. I guess there's a film called Keeping the Faith that not many people know about, actually, which is always surprising to me because it's like one of my favorite films, and it definitely inspired this one, with Ed Norton, Jenna Elfman, and Ben Stiller. I love My Best Friend's Wedding.
Okay.
That would be number 2, probably. Oh, God, and then I don't know, Notting Hill maybe is number 2. Shakespeare in Love, if that's considered a romantic comedy,
Okay.
historical romantic comedy. I love the genre, so that's almost impossible. But those are the ones that come to mind right away.
Those are the ones that come to mind right away. Okay, okay, that's good. That's good. So, wanted to give you one more question. Wanted to ask you because SIMCHAS and Sorrows. Again, we just mentioned earlier that it will be out in NoHo Theater, because I won't butcher the first name, but it's going to be released on September 16 on the NoHo Theater, like that people can watch it in theaters. It's amazing experience, people. As well, it will be available on digital and video on demand on the 20th of September. But as well that you have this already packed in and ready to go, do you have any other upcoming projects, anything that you're working on? The floor is yours.
I'm working on a new script, but that's all I'll say, because I'm not that far along yet.
Okay.
I had a son 4 months ago. I have a 4-month-old at home. So as you know, you mentioned your son.
Mine is 3 months old.
Oh my God,
Yes.
congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
So it's a
Yeah.
lot of work. So I've been focusing on motherhood and promoting this film, but I'm looking forward to making the next one, and I'm back at the computer writing whenever I can. So we're at the NoHo Lemley Theater in Los Angeles, September 16th, and the film will be out on VOD on September 20th.
That's amazing. So as well, where can the people find you on social media?
I'm at Genevieve_Lane_Adams, and the film is at SIMCHAS and Sorrows Film. And I should also mention it's available for pre-order on iTunes now. So if you're really looking forward to it, spread the word, buy your copy now, and you can watch in a few weeks.
Awesome, awesome. So, Genevieve, thank you very much for your time, and thank you for this interview. I really had a lot of fun. It was really great getting to know you more and getting to know more about the film. Like I've mentioned all the time, I think that everybody that I have interviewed have heard me say the release date so many times, but I love to say it once again. Remember, guys, it's going to be on the Lemon Theater, NoHo Theater, on the 16th of September. As well will be available on video on demand on the 20th. And like she mentioned, it's available to pre-order on iTunes. So go ahead and check it out. Like that you guys can admire this amazing film. It's really funny and you'll have a lot of fun. So thank you very much. I do hope that you have an amazing, great rest of your day.
You too. Thanks so much.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.